Welcome to Oddball. I'm Charlotte Wilder. That's Amin Hassan. We have a packed show for you guys today, so we're just going to dive right into it. Amin, what? Breaking news, Amin Hassan. This just in, Victor Wembenyana wins Rookie of the Year. Your thoughts?
And the Pope is Catholic.
What?
Oh my God. What else are we learning today that nobody could have foreseen?
Oh my God, maybe that aliens are real, according to his Nike commercial. Anyway, I'm not shocked. You're not shocked.
He's up for Defensive Player of the Year as well. And when we talked about that, I said he's going to be winning a zillion of these. He doesn't have to win it this year. This is the one award that he kind of has to win this year because this is the year he was a rookie. But look, it was my kind of feelings about him really got bumped up after All-Star Weekend when I saw that he's like the one guy who understands what that means. And so this is an incredible kind of first step in what I hope is a many award-winning step journey that he goes on.
Yes, me too. The actual breaking news is that we had two crazy games last night. The Knicks beat the Pacers 121-117. We will get to Nuggets, Timberwolves because... Yikes. But let's start with the Knicks because a lot of people are talking about the officiating. But to me, what was more interesting was just the difference between these two teams. Like the Pacers with their incredibly deep bench playing super fast, and the Knicks still, minus the calls and stuff, being able to keep up. Like that work ethic, that do the right thing when you have to do it. It just keeps paying off for them.
I can't believe you got this far into it without saying the words Jalen Brunson. It's to the point where now it feels any criticism he received this season just so ridiculous. And to be fair, we were on the Brunson hype train a long time ago, but he's just remarkable. It's like every single game he goes out there and he does something incredible. I don't know if you saw the post-game press conference when they tell him, hey, you're doing things that even Michael Jordan didn't do. And Dante DiVincenzo said, Michael Jordan, he looks at him, and Brunson doesn't make eye contact and says, stop it.
I know. They're so fun, too. This was his fourth 40-point game in the playoffs. In a row.
Yeah.
Like, I just think it's going to be really fun to see like what guys other teams give chances now because they're like, oh, maybe they don't have to look like Giannis.
Charlotte, like the other side of this, if you're the Indiana Pacers, there's a bit of you that has to feel like we kind of let one go because Tyrese Halliburton did not have a good game, right? But you got incredible performances from T.J. McConnell, from Andrew Nembhard. Obi Toppin at one point in the middle of the game went between the legs on a dunk, which I've never seen in a playoff game that was that in a playoff game at all, let alone a playoff game that close.
Right.
Like the Pacers are probably sitting in their hotel room saying, that's a bullshit moving screen call they had on Miles Turner at the end of that game. We probably have a chance to win it right there. But again, man, Jalen Brunson, this is what superstars do, right? Is they answer when their name is called, and I can't say enough good things about like the Villanova Knicks. Like these three guys bring it every single night.
They're the real deal. They're the absolute real deal. This is happening. I think it's going to be a close series, and it'll be fun. I think Knicks fans are going to have a couple more heart attacks. What's not a close series is Nuggets Timberwolves. What's happening? The Timberwolves shellacked them at home for the second game in a row, and now they go back to Minnesota up 2-0.
Yeah, being down 2 after losing the first 2 home games is like a really bad sign in NBA history, right?
Yeah.
I said this on the Le Batard show yesterday. Mm-hmm. I said it during the live watch show that we had with All the Smoke guys. I think Rudy Gobert not being there actually made Minnesota an even tougher matchup. Because
really?
I think Naz Reid is the guy that irritates Jokic because he picks him up full court and he bodies him. And he, like we talked about the other day, he speeds him up. And having more Naz Reid just kind of made Jokic's night even more miserable, I thought. And then the other side of it is, man, what's going to happen to Jamal Murray? Because, Charlotte, I missed this. I saw when he threw the heat pack.
Yeah.
That landed right in the middle of the paint. That could have hurt somebody, whatever. Yeah. I did not realize that was the second thing he threw. He threw a towel. What? He threw a towel before that.
I didn't know that.
He threw a towel that didn't quite make it onto the court. It landed right on the baseline, and the locker room attendant kid sitting on the ground luckily saw it and snatched the towel before anyone saw it.
Look, here's the thing. They are rattled. I've never seen the Nuggets. Yeah. I've never seen the Nuggets look that rattled. Jokic looked rattled. He was frustrated. KCP was freaking out. Jamal's apparently throwing 2 things. This is, if I'm a Nuggets fan, I'm freaking out.
Our pets' heads are falling off. That's what that felt like.
It did. Also, I would like to say that I did have the Nuggets winning this series in 7 games, albeit. But
I'm gonna.
I mean the Timberwolves. I had the Timberwolves. Oh, Timberwolves! Damn it.
Well, there you go. No, it's forever now. It's on the internet.
Oh, God damn it. All right. I'm hearing word that, back to you, Charlotte and Amin. That was bizarre. Hell? Oh, my God.
Jesus.
They tied you up? Weird. Okay. Moving on. That keeps happening. It's time for Odd One Out, Amin. We have to discuss 5 topics. The last one we don't get to is the Odd One Out. But let's see what our first topic is.
All right.
Dun, 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 dun. Door number one, please. What do we have?
Come on down.
Ooh, Dallas versus Oklahoma City. So the Mavs are facing Oklahoma City after they beat the Clippers in 6 games, which is close to Mavs in 5. I would like to point out,
Also close to Mavs in 7. Want to point that out as well.
So I would say that we split the difference. How would you say that the Mavs were able to pull away from the Clippers like that?
Oh, well, look, here's the deal. Kawhi Leonard's availability, obviously, notwithstanding. I think when you look at what Luka was able to do, they just didn't have enough firepower to keep up with Luka Doncic. And then the stat of all stats, of course, is Kyrie Irving in closeout games is undefeated for his career. And, it was just one of those things where it's this was almost destined to happen. You could feel the Clipperdom start to come up and consume everything that was happening. James Harden now has more sub 20% field goal percentage games in playoff history than any other player, including Bob Cousy, who shot 35% from the field for the playoffs for his career. So
how is that real? Someone brought that stat up to us the other day, and we were like, there's no way. But it is actually, in fact, what was happening. So, gosh, I feel like we're going to have a lot of time in the offseason to talk about, should the Clippers blow it up? But should they blow it up?
Well, I think, blowing it up, I don't know. See, it all comes back down to, are they healthy? Is he going to be healthy? Is he going to be healthy? There's only one he here.
Kawhi.
Right? Number one is Kawhi. Is Kawhi healthy? How do you manage him? He played this year a lot, but then his body broke down. Probably because he played this year a lot. I talk about this all the time. People, when you ask fans, hey, think about load management. What's the face that comes into your brain? The first person that comes up. Everyone says Kawhi Leonard. And it's it really hasn't been Kawhi load managing. It's Kawhi is hurt. He missed the last 8 games of the regular season because he was hurt. He missed game 1 of the playoffs because he was hurt, and he missed the last few games because he was hurt, not because he didn't feel like playing.
Right.
The other part of this...
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say the other part of this is Paul George is a free agent, as is James Harden. And so how much do you pay these guys? Obviously, they're max talents, but if you max them all out, do you have the flexibility to build a worthwhile championship contending team? I don't know. I don't know if the answer to that is yes.
I think there's also a question here about at what point do you stop building teams around a bunch of guys who are all in their 30s? But that's another bigger question. I want to talk about the Thunder versus the Mavs. Because this is the series that's coming up. I'm so excited about this. I feel like everybody, what I've seen chatter online, it's been oh, the Mavs have this. I think the Thunder are going to give them. I'm picking the Thunder in this matchup.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because I talk about experience all the time, and we saw some of that on Sunday where Orlando, young team, they get out to a huge lead, and it's like, wow, they're really going to do it in Game 7 on the road. And then, next thing you know, they carve it up because the moment becomes too big, I believe, for young players to figure out how to navigate the emotions of the roller coaster. Oklahoma City is incredibly talented, right? And they mopped the Pelicans, as they should have, because the Pelicans were shorthanded, and the Pelicans weren't exactly like paramounts of experience themselves. They'd only been to, most of those guys have been to the first round of the playoffs. That was the extent of their experience. This is different. Not only does Dallas walk in with talent in Luka and Kyrie, elite level talent, right? But also depth and experience. Like, these guys have been around. I just told you the Kyrie Irving set. These guys know how to navigate the roller coaster, the emotional roller coaster that is the playoffs.
Right.
And again, Charlotte, we talked about this during the regular season. Since the trade deadline, Dallas has been one of the best teams in the league. So I think those are all things that factor in. On the other hand, Luka not 100%. Maxi Kleber, who's one of their most important players off the bench, he's dealing with an AC joint issue. So maybe that tilts the scales back towards Oklahoma City.
I also think that in terms of inexperienced teams, in terms of young teams, this Thunder team all season has looked like they have a better idea of what it takes to be a cohesive team. I'm not saying that they have experience, because nothing stands in for actual experience. But, even the way they all gather around the microphone after when the players are doing interviews, it's like there's something special going on here. And also, though, Shea does have the fewest points against the Mavericks than any other team in the NBA.
Well, real quick, Stan Van Gundy would tend to agree with you. He said even though they're a young team, they don't play like a young team. So,
right.
But, again, this is all under the conditions of the regular season. The playoffs, especially as you move on, it gets a little bit more ratcheted up.
Right. We got to move on. We're out of time.
Right. Door number 2. What do we got? Cavs versus Boston. The aforementioned Cavs. I told you guys they won Game 7. I did not mention it was the biggest Game 7 comeback ever. They were down 18 points in the second half. In the first half, the Orlando Magic made a little bit of run in the second quarter. Third quarter, they blew the doors off the hinges. Donovan Mitchell, and after scoring 50 points in Game 6 to keep their season alive, or I guess give them the leg up or whatever you want to call it, he comes back and scores another 39 points in Game 7. 89 total points is the second most points in Game 6 and Game 7 combined in NBA history. Charlotte, at one point, the crowd started chanting, "We want Boston," and Mitchell had to tell the fans, don't do that. The old, "my brother's going to kick your ass," and like, "Oh, no, don't say that."
Yeah, and the brother's like, "I actually do not know for sure that I will. So if you would refrain from, I would like to be excluded from this narrative." The Cavs are very much in that narrative. I don't know that they want Boston, Amin, and I think that the fans need to get a grip, because this is not going to be.
Confidence Charlotte is back, ladies and gentlemen. It lasted through the weekend, through all the games, and came back up the other side on a Tuesday. It said, still here.
Yeah. Listen here, Cleveland, you need to get your act together, because the Boston Celtics are coming. And it would be better if I were saying this wearing a Celtics shirt, but I'm not.
So Donovan Mitchell was asked about it in the post-game presser. This is what he had to say.
Big shout out to the fans, man. They are electric. They're loud. I was a little upset they chanted, "We want Boston," and DG misses the free throw, but it is what it is.
He's like, guys, read the room. I do think, though, that speaking of Mitchell's press conferences, I've been very impressed with how he handled himself, because this Game 7 was an amazing game. I watched it. I don't think it has consumed the sports world, because it was Cleveland, Orlando. And so the press conference afterwards sort of seemed like people were just trying to get Mitchell to say the wrong thing. And he did not say the wrong thing. At one point, they were like, "How great does this feel?" And he was like, "Look, they didn't bring me here to win the first round. We're looking forward." I was very impressed with how he handled this. But of course, someone was like, this is the first playoff win since LeBron. Is there any way that Donovan Mitchell or anyone in that franchise is ever not asked about LeBron in relation to anything they do?
No, I mean, I guess you just have to, play there for 20 years and then win championships and become one of the greatest players of all time.
Task. Yeah, easy.
If you do that, then you get out of LeBron's shadow. Also, I like the idea of like this was a game 7 and nobody gave a shit about it. I did Levitard's show on Monday, 2 hours and 48 minutes of which was devoted to the Tom Brady roast, and the last 12 minutes was Drake versus Kendrick Lamar beef recap. It's funny if a game 7 happens in the land, does anyone even notice?
Yeah, so the Cleveland Magic beef wasn't on the list of topics.
Charlotte, could Cleveland use more fangxiety?
Yeah.
I can't say that word.
Yeah, they need a lot of anxiety. They should be terrified. They should not feel good. They should not be chanting, "We want Boston." This could be a sweep, Amin. I think that they really need to check themselves.
So this is my favorite thing about Cleveland I've ever witnessed. This was during the NBA Finals years and years ago, and they were up double digits, and Steph Curry hit 1 3. They called timeout, and I swear to God, the PA announcer, you can look it up, I tweeted it at the time, the PA announcer said, "Ladies and gentlemen, there's absolutely no reason to panic." I swear to I've never experienced anything like that in a sporting event since or before. He told the crowd there's absolutely no reason to panic. Narrator, there was absolutely a reason to panic.
There was absolutely. I'm going to need that. I'm going to need a recording of that and just play it as I'm falling asleep at night. Okay, moving on. Door number 3, what NBA awards, of course.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
So we talked earlier about the Rookie of the Year. But today they are announcing the finalists for Defensive Player of the Year and MVP. Let's see the finalists graphic we've got here. All right. So Bam, Rudy, and Victor for Defensive Player of the Year. Mm-hmm. What are we working with for the MVPs again? Are we going to roll
MVPs, that? Yep. Luka, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and the Joker man himself, Nikola Jokic.
So can you make a final case for Bam over Rudy Gobert for Defensive Player of the Year?
I think if the people who watch Celtics Heat, and I get it if you didn't because 4 of those 5 games were blowouts, but what you saw was a center guard the wings of the 2 dominant wings of the best team in the league. He guards Tatum. He guards Brown. He guards Porzingis. These aren't switches. It's not like, hey, ooh, go, okay, I held my own on this one possession. All right, I'm going to go back to guarding my usual matchup. They put him on these people on purpose to slow them down, and he's incredibly successful. And there's not a player in the league, I think, who right now who can do that. Draymond Green could do that. He's slowed down, obviously, now as he's getting older. But, like, that's a rarity. To me, those are the best defensive players. Not only are they great in the team concept in terms of helping and switching when necessary, but when I can say legitimately, you can lock down 1 through 5, I can put you on any person in the league, and you are going to hold your own defensively. To me, that speaks volumes. And the other 2 guys, maybe Wembenyana will get there one day. He's not there yet. He still makes a lot of mistakes, as he should. He's a rookie. Rudy Gobert, tremendous defensive player. I just don't think he brings the same kind of versatility that a Bam Adebayo does.
Yeah, I mean, Wembenyama puts his arm up and he's Defensive Player of the Year because his, so.
There's no shortage of people who are wanting to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, here you go. Anything. Please don't hurt us.
I don't have strong feelings about MVP except that I think it should be Shai or Jokic. Is this just Jokic's award because everyone feels bad saying that he didn't deserve it last year?
Well, I mean, I think there's a legitimate conversation around Shai. He had an excellent year. He's a two-way player. He's a very good defensive player as well as being an amazing offensive player. And his team had the best record in the conference. I think it's going to be Jokic. He is the best player in the game. We all kind of messed that. Well, not we. I wasn't voting last year, but the voters kind of like messed that one up because they were like, "How can this guy win 3 MVPs?" And then he shellacked everyone on the way to the championship.
He looks like he plays in flip flops. How can he be the best?
Oh my God! It's. I hate the kind of seat of your chair kind of analysis that people do. It's like, well, how can he? And then he just demolishes everyone with the championship. Well, clearly he's the best player. Oh, now he's the best. He's the same guy. He's the same guy. But go ahead, get your apologies in. All right. Moving quick. Oh, more Clipper talk. Super fails. The Clippers are the latest super team to fail. And this is what our producers came up with. It's a reminder of this was what took Paul George going from Oklahoma City to the Clippers. And obviously, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who we just talked about, went on the other way. And all these picks. Also, Danilo Gallinari. Let's not forget about him.
Yeah.
Once a Celtic, always a Celtic, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Shout out
Once
Danilo.
Once a Nick, always a Nick.
Well, that's true.
For your household, he is like a patron saint.
There you go. Is this real? Is my question.
Yeah.
This is so many first round picks. This is so obviously the main caveat is that did anyone know that Shai was going to be what Shai is when they made this deal? I mean,
anyone who says that they knew Shai was going to be an MVP caliber player is lying. Nobody knew he was going to be this good, but the Clippers knew he was going to be good. And I know this because at the time they were saying this, right? They had first of all, they had to give up all that stuff because it wasn't just for Paul George. It was for Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. I know what you're thinking of me. Wait a second, Kawhi Leonard didn't play for the Thunder? Look, Kawhi Leonard said to the Clippers, if you don't get me Paul George, I will not sign with you. So this is what they had to do to get both of those players, not the one. But even within that, the Clippers at the time said, we don't give a damn about the picks. We'd give up more picks. We didn't want to give up Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They said that at the time. And at the time, he was a nice young player. So I do want to give the Clippers kudos for that. And obviously, when you acquire someone who's as injury prone as Kawhi Leonard, you're playing with fire. But the injuries really do define kind of like why this team has failed, less so than, they just weren't good enough.
Right. A lot of super teams have included some combination of Paul George, James Harden, Kevin Durant. But you know what I mean? We don't even have time to get to that today. We don't even have time to get to our last two topics, which is sort of fine because we have more important things to do. I don't even know.
What are the other topics? No, we won't even tell them. We won't even
no way of knowing. Oh, Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo Ball! Come on! You could cut right there.
Rap beef?
And rap beef. Oh,
that's fun.
We didn't have time for that either. Wah-ha-ha!
All right, Amin, and everybody, welcome back to Oddball. Off-season rumors have already begun, and it's time for Heat Check. We are repurposing this beautiful game where one of us will give a take about a rumor, and the other will have to rank it from Frozen to Oppenheimer, which is a thing that I'm just reading as I say it, and that is wild. So great job, production. I love it.
Let's get movies? What's that? Larry David in the middle? It's Curb. It goes
what's the cold one?
What? Frozen, right?
Is that Game of Thrones?
That's Elsa.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. So the Lakers head coach. No. Yeah. No, I get it. The first hot take we've got is about the Lakers because Darvin Ham was let go as the Lakers head coach, and his rumored replacements are Budenholzer, Mike, Coach Bud, Ty Lue, and noted podcaster JJ Reddick. I mean, here's my take.
And friend of Charlotte.
Yeah. And my neighbor. Here's my take that when will we ever have a chance to have a coach coaching a player while also doing a podcast with them? This could be a historic moment for the Lakers. If they don't seize on this, they are missing out and they are bad at content.
All right, Charlotte. This is what are you asking about JJ specifically? This is what
No, rank my take.
Your take that JJ should be the pick?
And they should keep doing the podcast while he's the coach.
Give me Elsa and whatever her sister's name was that they wanted to build snowman with. Anna, there you go. Olaf, whatever. No, and here's why. And JJ, I'm talking to you directly now because I know you watch the show. I remember saying this about Steve Nash. Dude, you have a life. Don't ruin your beautiful, wonderful life of happiness with the family and seeing your kids grow up to deal with that shit. It's shit, man. Trust me, this life is shit in general, but that job in particular is a special kind of shit. You don't want it. Right now, your relationship with LeBron is awesome. You do a podcast together. You're making money together. The moment you have to try to manage him, because you're not his boss, you're just kind of his manager, that relationship gets strained. I know it feels like, everyone's going to be cool, and you'll be cool afterward, after you get fired, but do you really want to go through that? No. JJ, freezing, no.
But it was a hot take, though. Because I didn't really mean it.
Oh, the take was hot. Yes. Oh, in that case, give me.
So you had the scale wrong. So it was Oppenheimer. Thank you.
Yeah, it's Oppenheimer, and also don't watch it in 70 millimeter IMAX. That's a scam. You could watch it at home.
I told you.
90% of the movies in a boardroom.
I said don't go see Oppenheimer in IMAX because it's just a bunch of guys having meetings in 70 millimeter.
Yes.
Did you listen?
Yes.
No.
No, I didn't.